Chong, anytime I have the opportunity to speak to a legend, it's my honor, man. Thanks for being on. How's everything going?
Everything's going good. Everything's going good. Yeah, we're just hunkered down here, waiting for the virus, waiting for the vaccine. They got a vaccine coming,
Yes,
so we're getting close.
I hope so, man. This giving you a lot of time to come up with ideas. It seems like you're coming up with more ways to get people high. Tell us about
Yes.
these THC strips, man. That's awesome.
They're so popular. All my friends, especially my wife's friends, because it's really good. Just before you go to bed, pop one, and then you sleep, and you have nice
Wow.
dreams.
So it's
and
a strip that you
yeah,
actually
so
put on your tongue, and
yeah,
it's THC infused.
I yeah. Just a little. You peel it, take the little strip, put it on your tongue. It'll melt, and oh.
Oh, I
Okay.
like the screensaver.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
awesome, man. Like I said, you're being real creative with this thing. I know we spoke before and we just talked about the evolution of finally seeing progression with marijuana becoming legal. You told me you never thought you would live long enough to see it progress to this point. You have to be ecstatic with where it's going.
Yes, I'm very happy, especially during this lockdown, the pandemic. Uh, Marijuana is considered essential. They
Yeah.
closed the bars, they closed the churches, but they kept the pot shops open.
Hey, man, it's very important right
Yeah,
now.
yes, it is. Yes, it is. And it's a medicine. It's keeping me healthy. It's kept a lot of my friends healthy, and it's helped the ones that that had the virus, helped them recover quite a bit.
Mhm.
So it's all good.
Did you first start smoking for recreation, or did you start smoking because you had some health things that you felt like it could fix?
No, it was a teenage experimental. You
Okay.
know, I was try this, man. The guy that turned me on to a Lenny Bruce record, a comedy
Hmm.
record, and he gave me a joint, and the rest is history. It all worked.
Was it right away, or did you not like it at first, or did you gravitate to it right away?
Oh man, I loved it from the first little trip. When I started hearing music, I mean, also you listen, you can hear it, but when you get high, all of a sudden those notes get so big and fat, and you can hear everything, and you understand things.
Hmm.
You can understand how music affects your mood. Uh, Especially if you're musical, if you got any kind of musical, and we all do. But being a musician, as soon as I got high and heard jazz, man, I was hooked forever.
Absolutely, absolutely. I understand you want your brand to take off in the UK. Why is that so important to you, Mr. Chung?
Well, they need it over there. They really do. They need it everywhere, but the UK for sure. Uh, they've been smoking weed for a long time, but for some reason, Europe and the UK, they got this weird love affair with tobacco, cigarettes.
Okay.
You know, and what they do because you get hooked on tobacco, and then you get hooked on weed, then you combine the two. And the worst thing for me is taking a hit off a joint from the UK, and it'll be half tobacco, and I don't smoke tobacco. In fact, it hurts me. uh, and so I the UK needs to lighten up in a lot of ways,
Mhm.
you know, and pot is definitely is a good way for that to happen.
Did you ever think, because you've essentially made a career off
Yeah,
cannabis? I mean,
yeah.
you truly, the movies, your brand, which what you have going on with Tommy Chong's, you did it in a time where it wasn't so prevalent and so easily accessible. What kind of I guess you could say, what kind of borders did you have to overcome to get where you got? Because it was illegal at one point, and I know you dealt with a lot to get to where you are now.
Yeah, well, you know, I went to jail. I did 9 months in federal lockup,
Wow.
just for selling bongs, for selling water pipes.
Wow.
And it was just a publicity hit, you know, which was good because, see, the other thing that a lot of the straight and the police and the ones that are opposed to marijuana, they forget that it was originally a religious sacrament. You know, marijuana started, or cannabis started in the early churches. You know, when you see the Greek Orthodox swing their incense, that's supposed to be full of marijuana.
Oh wow!
You
Okay.
see, because and it's written in the Bible. All throughout the Bible, they call it canna, C-A-N-N-A.
Yes.
But canna is written all throughout the Bible, and the stories like Samson, you know, where he got his incredible strength. They said it was from honey, but if you look at the old translations, that honey was another thing of canna.
Oh, wow.
It was like hash oil, you know, like what they dab now. That was the honey that Samson used to get his strength back, to get his manhood back, basically. See, the Bible was written by writers and poets, and so there's a lot of meaning that were supposed to be taken, not taken literal, but taking more for the flourish, the description of the language itself. And the trouble with a lot of these strict religious cults, basically, they take pieces of the Bible that were meant to be metaphors, not so much meant to be a law.
Yeah.
And then they perverted the experience. But so when you look at what cannabis does and has done, you see, it was the burning bush that Moses talked to. You know, Moses talked to the burning bush. Well, we've done that, you know. The burning bush talks to us. And you figure out what you see. When Moses got high, then he got all these creative ideas. Absolutely. Of how to help his people, how to show a better life to everybody. And like the Ten Commandments, they weren't so much commandments as they were rules, eternal rules that you cannot break without suffering consequences. So they're not, they're commandments in a way, but they really are rules, like gravity, up and down. You know, there's always a down. Yeah. and so when you get into the moral aspects of the Ten Commandments, which was inspired by the cannabis plant, and you look thoroughly, you know, really closely at what was written, you'll see, you know, thanks to the magic plant, we've been taught how to live harmoniously and creatively and peacefully on this planet, and there's no reason why we can't do that. For sure. Now, and that's really what's happening now, because you look at when cannabis was made illegal, it was to replace prohibition of alcohol. It was to keep the police busy, because once they made alcohol legal, then the revenuers, the cops that were looking for bootleggers, they were out of a job. Absolutely. And so they needed a job. And so, wow, what better than that evil marijuana that these Mexicans were bringing across the border, and you know, and subverting our youth and our women. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And,
no, going to prison over a plant.
so the racism in Prohibition itself was as big as life. Because think about it, the Puritans who created the Prohibition, the alcohol, it was to again, it was against the French, the Italian, the German, all the immigrants, the Ukrainians, the Russian, all the immigrants, which they always had their wine. See, when they got to the new country, they brought their wine and their ability to make wine and their ability to make alcohol. You see, because back in the day, water was dangerous during the plague times.
Facts.
And that's why they made their wine. That's why it was such everybody was drinking wine and cider and beer, anything but water. Because water was dangerous. That's where the diseases were.
Absolutely.
And so when they ended that prohibition, then they started the marijuana prohibition. And the marijuana was basically against the black population, against the Latin, the brown population, the black and brown population, and the Chinese, the yellow. So it was always a racist law. And now we're getting out of that. Because we're bringing an end to racism as well. Absolutely. If not totally, but at least the knowledge. We're spreading the knowledge of the equality, and that's what marijuana really does. Marijuana equals the playing field, because when you're getting high with a group of friends,
you don't care what they look like.
It doesn't matter what color that hand is that hands you the joint. The main thing is it's carrying the right things.
It's got to be good stuff. And that's something else I want to touch on, because you always fear oversaturation, because now it's legal, and now there's all these different strands, and everyone wants to start a cannabis or hemp kind of product. How do you assure yours is pure? Obviously, you know what you're smoking, you know what's good and bad, but just so that the oversaturation, your name doesn't get mixed into that.
Well, no, I never worry about that. I never worry about that because the product sells itself.
Yeah.
You see, we don't worry about the hype or anything like that. Think about it. That product was so popular. Yeah, that's my son. That product was so popular, that it became a currency.
Uh-huh.
My son keeps phoning me.
Oh, you good.
Yeah, so marijuana has always been a currency, around the world. Like cocaine, like all the illicit drugs, it's basically currency. You can pay your bills with a bag of coke.
For sure.
With certain guys, certain people. But I forget the question.
No, I just said, how do you make sure that yours is not getting mixed in with the kind of oversaturation crowd?
Oh, I know, but the more the merrier. The more the merrier. The more growers, the better. Everybody should grow. Everybody should get in on this. What we very proud is the product. We get the best product, and so because it's your reputation that counts.
Yes.
You see, if you get a reputation of always having good stuff, it'll stick. And if someone for some reason gets weirded out, gets cheated in some ways, we'll gladly replace it.
Oh
wow. Yeah, why not?
Okay.
This is a plant that grows 3 to 4 crops a year. Do you realize how much cannabis is changing our world? Because think about it. We're back manufacturing hemp products again.
Uh-huh.
See, See, they stopped that for the longest while. And that's how the plastics came into our lives, because there was no hemp products. Now we're getting hemp products, and it won't be too long before the hemp will replace the plastic products. You see, that's going to happen. And there's a lot of good things that are going to happen now that we're coming back into that again. And just like this pandemic really, you got to remember, Mother Earth is a living, vibrant piece of real estate. You know, it's alive and it's intelligent. The globe that we're on, it has intelligence, especially how to heal itself. Definitely. And so when humans are going all crazy, especially when you had the nut in the White House saying that climate change doesn't exist, and you know that all this stuff is a hoax. You know, Mother Nature had to go, okay, I think these people need a little pandemic for a minute, and boom, and so they shut down. The Earth got shut down. Basically, nothing's flying, nothing's driving, hardly anything's driving, and so the Earth is healing itself. Now that we get a decent president in the White House, and get back to the climate, climate control, and all that good stuff, getting rid of the oil and getting all electricity going, cleaning up the planet, so we have this garden. Because that's what we have, that's what we have everywhere you look. Just like people, we couldn't travel, we couldn't go to Hawaii. Hey, we're in Southern California. We don't need to go anywhere. You just need to go to your backyard.
That's right. That's right. Before I let you go, man, I have to run this by you because it seems like now we're in nostalgic times. We're watching Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunions, and we just watched Mike Tyson fight Roy Jones Jr. Can we ever get another Cheech and Chong movie, or is that too far gone?
No. I'm working on one right now.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. I'm working on I told Cheech about it. It was really funny because Cheech says, because I told him what I want to do. I want to do a part 2 of Born in East LA.
Okay.
I want to call it I Was Born in East LA 2.
Okay.
Okay. And she said, he said, okay, that's good. He says, what's the budget? I says, $1 trillion. and he looked at me, and he knows I'm serious, because that's really the budget. Because what I want to do, I'm writing a movie where we hire thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of extras and movie actors. And this is how we get them through the border. We get everybody, that whole caravan, we hire them as actors because they're actors, or crew members or whatever their skill is. But I want to hire all these people, and then I want to start, because movie companies are more equipped to vet people, to vet people and to take care of people. Way better than immigration. The way immigration is set up now, it's like a refugee camp. They're like military.
Patrol,
okay, you get over there. You get over there. You sit over there. Okay, you go to that camp, or you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
But a movie company, they take people as they are, and they individuals, especially children. We have rules. If you're going to use children, you got to put them in school. You got to give them all that good stuff. And if you hire actors from another country, you got to be responsible for their pay and for their housing. Their upkeep, their living. And so that's why the movie budget is about $1 trillion, because I want to hire all these extras, and not only hire them, but I want to build villages for them to keep them, because that's what they did back in the day. That's what, when MGM and the movie companies, when they shot the 10 Commandments in Egypt, they hired the Egyptian army.
Wow.
They hired the entire army because movie companies can do that.
Yes.
They can hire the caterers, the people, the location people. We're equipped as a movie company. We're equipped to treat people like real human beings, and then we get a list of them, because they're not just faces; they're people.
Yeah.
There are people with a past, with a birth certificate, with an age, with all these human qualities,
Uh-huh.
and so the next Cheech and Chong movie, can you imagine? It's born in East LA. I was born in East LA too.
Man, what better time for it? We need it. We definitely need it, sir.
Yeah, it's going to be good, and it's
I
going to
can't
be
wait.
it's going to be like it's going to be a 10-year project.
Okay.
I say 10 years, because I want to not only do the southern border, but I want to do all the countries, and bring them all in, and then have all the movie makers, creating their movie, creating their products with all these actors that we're bringing in.
Wow. That
And all
sounds
the
awesome,
guilds,
man.
all the guilds. Can you imagine all the actor guilds? They get filled up. The economy gets going. You see, because you need people to take care of those people.
Absolutely.
And then at the end, we got a product that we can sell and recoup a lot of the money. See, I what I learned. This is what pot does to you, by the way. I learned, like in Canada. I'm from Canada. I'm part Chinese. My grandfather. When I did a DNA, my grandfather came from China, and he was hired to work on the railroad in Canada when they put the railroad through Canada, through the Rocky Mountains. Only one race of people on Earth knew the technology to go through mountains, to go through tunnels, and to build roads and to build railroads. It was the Chinese. They had the expertise.
Wow.
They were the only ones. But check this out. The Canadian government charged every worker an entrance fee to get into Canada, to work in Canada. That entrance fee equaled the cost of the railroad. So the Chinese not only built the railroad,
they paid for it.
They paid for it.
Yeah.
And then at the end of when the railroad was finished, the railroad people, they were very racist, fired all the Chinese, fired them. And then they had the white guys come in and pose for pictures, saying that, that they drove the last spike and all that.
They did it, yeah.
But what they did, they never gave them a return ticket to go back to China. So they all stayed in America and in Canada. They stayed. And that's why I'm here, because my grandfather, he opened a gambling joint, and then my grandmother, she ended up opening restaurants and so on. And then my father met my mother, and then here I am.
That's an awesome story, man. Mr. Chong, as always, man, I appreciate the time, man. You are awesome. Let's not make this the last, definitely.
Anytime. I'm with you, brother.
Thank you so much, man. Have a good one and enjoy your holiday, brother.
I will. You too, brother. Take care now.
Thanks, sir. Have a good one.